Howdy y'all, it's Chris with Show of Fitness, your favorite trainer in the belt buckle. Today we're going to talk about blood pressure, American College of Sports Medicine, and the risk stratifications. And what we do here at Show of Fitness is we don't just teach you NASM, we teach you NASM, ACSM, NSCA. If you want to get a certification, we prep you to pass it. Here's an example of what a class is like. I'm going to zoom in so you can check out these values, and then it's going to be a class example. So right here, we're going to have the values for the ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine. And when a client has one of these, we'll be able to stratify them, low, moderate, or high. And then we also have these levels. There we go. Which we'll be able to interpret. Your blood pressure, body mass index, LDLs, HDLs, total cholesterol, testosterone, and your CRP, which is C-reactive protein. We have the bad levels, which we should probably refer out. We have the normal levels, and then we have some levels that maybe you're unfamiliar with and how you would handle those. Stay tuned. A little bit about the ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine, risk stratifications, and going a little deeper. Now, one of the reasons how we separate ourselves is we don't just highlight one certification. When you're done, you're able to go and take any of them. We've had students that have done the CSCS, which is pretty cool, and they pass it going through here. I'd say the majority of people do NASM because it's the easiest. Just had a couple more online people sending me your study guide help, which is great. NSCA, you can get the CPT, and the ACSM, and that's what we're going over here. So American College of Sports Medicine, that's the levels, borderline levels that are good and bad. Before we do that though, I'll have someone come up here, we'll do some measurements, we'll do some blood pressure, but I want to talk about a hypothetical which one of my trainers told me about, which like I'm big about an open door policy. Don't hide stuff. If you screw up, let's talk about it. Because then that's where we can talk to people, students, and you guys can learn from it. So how would you handle the following scenario? You're starting to build your book of business. You have 6 clients, you have 2 guys that you train at 12 o'clock. Sometimes they cancel and they like to move it to 11. And then you have a new client that you just signed up on Monday that they want to go at 11 o'clock. 11s are open, you fill it up, but then you forgot when you trained your guys on Thursday, because today's Friday, that they wanted to train at 11. You say, that's fine, sure, come in. And then 11 on Friday comes, 2 clients, 1 client, they show up at the same time. So first off, scheduling error, it's gonna happen. How would you handle that scenario?
Now having to train 3 clients, and then I think from there I'm still able to train all of them when they're comfortable with it. And just either have them do stuff separately where, I don't have to keep eyes on them from time to time, and then, kind of like switch around and agree with them.
Yeah, great, I like that. Accountability is huge. Your clients will really, really respect that. And if they're all paying $150 per session, you need to come up with a solution, and being able to think on your toes is good. Hey, Amber, Jake, Brandon, totally screwed up, my fault. Today's session is free. So since you guys are here, we got 2 options. I can train Amber, and then at 12 you guys can come back and I can take you through it. Or we can all work out right now. Like I said, it's a comp session. I totally screwed up. It's not gonna happen again. I'm not gonna give you an excuse, some bullshit. I'm busy, blah, blah. I screwed up. What would you guys prefer? And in this case, the trainer said that. He was fortunate enough that there was Chandler, she was one of our managers, she was there. So he went over and talked to her and said, hey, will you be willing to help me out right now? I totally screwed up. Can you take Brandon and Jake through the workout? And I'm gonna take, I think that was actually the better call too, because he had the established relationship with them. And your clients are gonna be a lot cooler. Life happens. Did your clients show up late? Yes. This is one of the beautiful things about always being on time and always showing up, because you will screw up. It's going to happen. You're gonna have one of these fumbles. And so having that ace in your pocket and be like, in the back of your head, like, you guys show up late all the time. So I'm almost doing you a favor right now. I'm gonna have her take you through it. Again, I'm taking responsibility. I'm not gonna charge you guys, but then I'm gonna work with the new one because the new person is the one that you're kind of still learning what she's, her behaviors and everything, and that could look pretty bad on you. So he's very fortunate, took him to a workout, took him, everyone was solved. But what if you didn't have cool clients? What if you didn't have someone to fill in and help you out? How else could you do it? I'm saying you don't have any other trainers there. No one else is there. And this is actually funny because she brings her baby into it's a little toddler, not even a toddler, it's like whatever you call these things, little babies. Like you can't walk around, it's in a baby carriage. So the baby's there, she doesn't like crazy loud rap music, they love Cardi B, crazy loud rap music, so that relationship, you also have to think like that, where even though they're all gonna train, that could even make it worse. You put on Cardi B and she's talking about shit, and now she's offended, they're having a great time, baby's crying, it's like, oh my God, you just made this a cluster. So use your best judgment with that, but what could be something else you could do?
I would like to place my emphasis on her because she's obviously the new client, is that right? Mm-hmm. And so that looks bad if you don't put her number one priority. Since they've been around, they're still clients. I would still hold myself accountable, but I feel like I like to put her first.
Yeah, and that's right, I agree with you. And I also think your clients, get them involved. Let them know you screwed up. I still need to train you. I still need to train you guys. What are some options that we can go through today that everyone's happy? Would someone be able to come back later on? No? Okay, so then our options are, I train one of you today. When you guys come back, you get a comp session. Or we just take today as a wash, we schedule you for the rest of the week. Which one would you guys prefer? So then they get to make that decision. It's not like you're telling them, because they could be, they could be really frustrated, and you always, when you, like you said, Izzy, when you just come with accountability, you'll be good to go. If you try to explain it, like, I told you 12. No, it was 11. Well, no, because remember, it's on my phone, look at 12, see? Then you're making them wrong. It's like, what does that do? The fact that they're both there, you could have said 11 and 12, but their schedules could have screwed up and they're both there. And they're both there at 11. And you're 100% right. But because of the service, this is what can make you successful long term. Put your ego aside. I don't need to prove that you screwed up your scheduling. I'll take that one and say, I take responsibility for this. Here's what we're going to do. Today's workout's free. I'm going to take you guys through it, and then we're going to schedule afterwards, and we're going to get back on track. Even if they screwed up, you still take that responsibility. All right, so one of the things with the American College of Sports Medicine, when we look at the ACSM, CAD stands for coronary artery disease. So you have your heart, cardiac tissue. There's two other types of muscular tissue in the body. What are they? We got cardiac, smooth, which is around your guts, your organs, and skeletal muscle. So we have voluntary, we have involuntary. Your heart contracts via a pump, heart rate, but you got an artery that goes around there. Arteries generally carry oxygenated blood. So imagine a very, very angel hair pasta artery around the heart. When that gets clogged, you can have a heart attack. Lots of people die every year from this. So we can screen people. First thing that we're going to do is screen via PAR-Q. What's PAR-Q? Physical Activity Readiness Questionnaire. Just read it backwards. It's a questionnaire to determine how ready your clients are for activity, physical activity. So this is going to screen people. If you had to choose training a 70-year-old or a 20-year-old, I'm going to take the 20-year-old every single time if they have money. They don't have as much buildup. They don't have stress and tissue damage and all that wear and tear. So that's why age can be a risk. But you got to think of the risk stratifications as, that's a cliff. We're standing right here. If you have a risk, it's not the end of the world. You're just one step closer. Your clients can smoke, they can have family history of heart disease, they can have bad lipid levels, they can have high blood pressure. They're just getting closer to the edge. I can still train them though. I cannot train my clients when I have a sign or symptom You know, I kind of have chest pain. I've been having it for the last couple days. No, I'm not training you. Refer out. When in doubt, refer out. You know, just lately I've been getting real dizzy, and I don't know what it is. I'll be working, I stand up and I have to sit back down. That's not normal. That's a sign that your heart's not functioning properly. Get that checked out. We will screen a lot via what we'll do in here, but some other things, coronary artery disease, any type of cardiac disease, pulmonary disease, emphysema, asthma, or metabolic disease. Your thyroid, your diabetes, anything like that, we would not want to train. You need medical clearance. So if that person comes in and they have one of those, you send a medical clearance to the doctor, they give you the okay, you're going to get some contraindications, which they're going to tell you things you can or cannot do. As I told you guys, like heart attacks, you want to avoid clinching, you know, doing like a pull-up hang wouldn't be the best. If your clients have really high blood pressure, you probably want to avoid doing a bunch of push-ups, standing up and doing jumping jacks, because that blood pressure sway is not optimal. So just be aware of that. Family history, you have a heart attack and your first degree relative, mom or dad, at age 55 for your dad, 65 for your mom. Cigarette smoking, 6 months, you have to be clean. So if you quit 6 months ago, but you're still socially smoking every couple of weeks, that still counts as a risk. Sedentary lifestyle, 3-3-30. So 3 months of exercising for at least 3 days a week for 30 minutes, that's a non-risk. We're a very, very sedentary nation, so most of our clients are probably going to have that as a risk. It just shows, like the program we designed yesterday, that really big circuit, I wouldn't do that on someone who hasn't been working out. A little too much. It's maybe do a core lift like your squat followed by a push-up into a bicep curl, then you rest until they're ready to go again, and you repeat for 2 or 3 rounds, and you stick to the core movements with some accessories, multi-joint first and single joint. Obesity, so we'll get into that with our body mass index here in a second. Hypertension, we'll look at that here in a second as well. Dyslipidemia, we'll look at that over here. Prediabetes also, and last but not least, your HDL. So these are our levels that we're going to take a look at, that again, we typically as trainers focus on the bad. So what we want to do is understand the bad, but recognize good. And remember, we're not doctors, we're not therapists, we're not chiropractors. The purpose of this is to screen. And when you really dive into the American College of Sports Medicine and their stratifications and their risks, it's just going to separate you amongst all the trainers because they don't understand this stuff. They don't know what blood pressure is. So when someone comes in and you take their blood pressure, which we'll do here in a second, and they have a blood pressure of 140/90, it's called hypertension. It doesn't matter if it's the top number. What's the top number called? Systolic, or the bottom number? Diastolic. If one of those numbers is one is above 140 or one is above 90, that's hypertension. What could potentially cause high blood pressure? Stress. Maybe some type of food intake deficiencies. Not necessarily the specific food, like salt doesn't cause high blood pressure. It's what happens for those, where do you find a lot of salty foods? Fast food, processed. We eat too much of that. Generally, we're not exercising as much. Generally, we're not drinking as much water. Generally, we're not eating as much fruits and vegetables. So it's the whole package. We can't just say it's this what causes high blood pressure. What causes high blood pressure is eating too much, excessive calories, not moving enough. With that generally comes a high stressed life, and we're not sleeping enough. So one of the best things for our clients that have high blood pressure, 1 rep max bench pressing? No. What do you think would be good?
Walking.
Just start doing some cardio. Start walking 15 minutes a day. Walk around your block twice. I'm going to challenge you maybe an hour a day, because then it's going to start lowering your blood pressure. Once you start getting significantly above 140, the highest I ever saw in a client was 180/110. And I was like, is this normal? Like, when was the last time you were to the doctor? I haven't been there in a couple of years. Now, I don't want to scare you, but this number is the highest I've ever seen. So there should be a little fear. I suggest you go to the ER today, because that blood pressure is significantly above normal. We want to be 120/80 and less than that. When we did this in class, the majority of people were 100/70. That's great. So we focus really on the bad. Anything less than 120/80 is good. Once you have like a number that's kind of unique, like a 60/40, I had that one time, that's not bad. Don't think of lower as bad. Remember, it's a U-shaped curve. So ask some questions. When was the last time you were at the doctor? Has there ever been any concern with blood pressure abnormalities? What should happen if I take my blood pressure here, if I stand up and take it again? It should go up. So if you're ever concerned, always refer out when in doubt. But if it was really low, I had one time 55/35. Very small girl, she just had a kid, which I liked because do you think they'd been to the doctor recently? Yeah. So I said, did the doctor notice anything? He just said my blood pressure was a little low. Had him stand up, it raised, it went to like 67/47. Okay, you've been to the doctor, everything's okay. I'm not an expert on this. I'm just gonna slowly expose you to a workout. Just because you get the green light doesn't mean you go kick the shit out of a client now. It's a screen. If someone has really high blood pressure, maybe it's 142/92. Wait 5 minutes, talk to them about their goals. You can see how they move if you like, something real simple. And then check it again if it comes down to 138/88. I can train them, but I still want to be, maybe instead of doing that circuit we just talked about, bench press and squat into a curl, maybe you just do a standing press. So standing press here, so then we don't mess with blood pressure on our back and then get back up. And you just do that standing press for a set, you rest, educate them a little bit, here's some challenges I'm going to give you, drink more water, blah, blah, blah. Body mass index is the next one. Now what's the big flaw with body mass index? Doesn't take into consideration lean body mass. And does that mean it's completely flawed? No, it's fine. I'm more than competent taking 100 people and saying, according to the BMI, you're overweight, you're obese. And with that comes a greater likelihood for diabetes, for cancers, for coronary artery disease. It's not diagnosing you. It's just giving me an idea of what that workout's going to look like. What's a better indicator than body mass index? Doing some type of body fat percentage. Sure, it's a measurement, it's not the measurement. Stop freaking out. The body mass index is bad, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. It's taking your weight, your mass, in kilograms and putting it over your height in meters squared. It's going to give me quickly an idea of how healthy, not even healthy, just how prepared you are for exercise. If you have more muscle, it's not the best indicator. What happens when it's below 18? What's that called? 18.5 to 24.9 is considered good. That's the normal range. 25 to 29.9 is considered overweight. Obese is 30 plus. So what's it called when you're 18 or below? Underweight. Is that good? No. Don't scare people. Like I'm not like, oh, you know, you're overweight according to BMI, I can't train you. No, not at all. It just gives me an idea what that workout's going to look like. So if you're underweight, it's kind of the same thing. Maybe it's something like an underlying eating disorder. I'm not going to be like, oh, I think you have bulimia. No, not at all. It's just giving you data. That's what this stuff is. Next, LDLs. Low density lipoprotein. HDLs, high density lipoprotein. Lipoprotein, so these are protein molecules. It's essentially cholesterol and the fat in the body. It's going through the blood. So this is the stuff that can potentially get clogged up in the arteries. It gets calcified, and that's where coronary artery disease comes from. Generally, we like to see the L. Think of L for low. We want to see the LDLs low. Those are the lousy ones. That's what we call them. Then we have the healthier ones. We want the healthier ones with a high to be high. I want to see high HDLs, low LDLs. A risk factor for ACSM is greater than 130. Less than 100 would be considered good. I already got over that. How do you get these numbers? Do you put on the nurse's mask, get the needle out, and start poking your clients? No. They're going to go, so maybe you're going to see that in 5-10 years with the evolution of trainers. We start getting educated, we're badasses. Maybe in your facility you have a nurse practitioner on your team. And someone comes in and by then the technology is so badass they can draw blood quickly, put it into a computer, centrifuge, boom, boom. Within 3 minutes you have a printout and it tells you all this shit. And we'll be able to decipher it. That would be awesome. Do you think the average trainer knows what these things are? No freaking way. That's why you guys are ahead of the game. So we want our LDLs to be less than 100. We want our HDLs to be greater than 60 would be ideal. That's a negative risk factor. Normal range for your HDLs are 45 to 55. It's when it's less than 40 is when it's a concern. Generally, what you will also see is people who are on steroids, their HDLs are extremely low. Told you the story about the guy in class, his levels are like 13. I'm like, dude, I didn't know you're on roids. He's like, oh, what? Again, I'm not a doctor, not even close. And just because I know these numbers doesn't mean I'm practicing in that way. We're screening. And I just want you to be healthy at the end of the day. And if you go to a doctor, a lot of times they're going to tell you, it's not like they're going to miss this stuff. It's not like we're going to say, oh, you need to go on lipid medication. No, but what's going to happen is your client has a level of 115 for LDLs, and their HDLs are 31, and the doctor says, oh, you're fine, which is most likely the case. Well, it's not that you're fine. When we start making better choices and we start eating in a little bit of a deficit and we start lifting weights, your HDL specifically, they're going to come up. Your LDLs are going to come down. So your blood goes from like goop to a better filtration. Think Rio the other day, what did she have for her HDLs? 80 something. So that means if you were to have, let's say, according to the ACSM, which a risk factor would be a BMI greater than 30, if you were to have that, but your HDLs were 80, like Rio's, they offset one another. You have now 0 risks. So HDL is so awesome when they're that high. They're the cleaner uppers, they're the healthy ones, they're the vacuum. They go in there and they clean all the stuff up. Total cholesterol should be less than 100, and these are in milligrams per deciliter. Total cholesterol greater than 200 would be a risk factor. Once you start getting into like the high, I think it's like 250, they'll usually start putting you into a medication. Can we tell our clients that we can go off medication? No. So Mrs. Jones, you're at 240, you work out with me for 3 weeks, you can go off your meds. No, not at all. What can happen, it's really neat when you're on this high blood pressure and lipid medication, training with me for 6 months, you go back to the doctor, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, your levels are awesome. I'm going to take you off. We don't have that say. Now we're getting into some levels that you're not going to see on ACSM. Testosterone. You go to the doctor, and if you ask for a lipid panel, they're going to give you a lipid panel. Ask for everything. Ask for CRP, which is C-reactive protein. It's an inflammatory marker. Ask for testosterone. Ask for cortisol. Ask for everything under the sun. And you can just fabricate a little bit to the doc and say, you know what, I'm taking a class right now and we get 50 points extra credit if we can do everything. So doc, can you really help me out? I know it's going to cost a little more on your guys' end, but my insurance covers it. Will you do me a favor? So,
Is there a reason why testosterone? Because I know a lot of levels were nearly 17. They're like, testosterone was really high, and had some blood work.
yeah, so anytime something's abnormal, they're going to be able to find why they're abnormal. I can't tell you why. So those levels are extremely high. I wouldn't know what that could be, but there could be an underlying issue. So that's why you go to the doctor and get it. We're just going to be able to decipher some of this, but the docs will be able to tell you exactly what's going on. So normal level of testosterone for men are 300 units per deciliter to 1200. It's quite a large range. Very large range. Some of them you'll see like 280 to 1,000. I've seen some that are 350 to 980. This is the range generally that I use, 300 to 1200. For girls, it's 30 to 90. Is that a significant difference? Yeah. So you could have a girl with 30 units per deciliter, which is normal, and a guy that has over 1,000, and you're looking at 20, 30 times more testosterone. One of the main reasons why girls don't have to be as concerned about getting jacked. You don't have the amount of testosterone. Now, can girls get jacked? Sure. Go take a CrossFit class and do it 6 times a week and start eating more. You're going to grow the tissue. It's part of the game. If you were to have a lower testosterone level, so for example, client comes in, if you go to the doctor and you're at 300, more than likely the doctor's going to be like, you're fine. But it's like getting a C- on a test. You passed, sure, but who wants to have a C-? We want more, right? So what are some things that could potentially start bumping up your testosterone naturally? Start lifting heavy. Yeah, start lifting some heavy weights, yeah. Not too much. You're not going to find a lot from food groups that are going to increase your testosterone levels. No. Yeah, it'd be nice. Have some berries. Yeah, right. The supplements are all on the bottle. They're going to say they will, and you're going to buy it, and that's where the placebo effect comes in. Because imagine if you buy this, I'm taking testosterone. You go to the gym, and do you think your workout's going to be shitty? No, each rep you're like, I'm on testosterone. I'm setting personal records. There are a lot of, so you can do like at the end of a workout, maybe you do some type of metabolic circuit, which could bump up your growth hormone acutely. Maybe lifting heavier, longer rest periods, 85+%. Kramer, Readiness et al. In designing resistance training program. It's one of the better books for periodization. They have a lot of that stuff breaking down larger muscles first versus doing squats over leg curls are going to be superior for testosterone production. Yep. You said sleep. Sleep is huge. Once you start getting like less than 6 hours, you can be cutting your testosterone levels in half. I'm so tired. Yeah, it's because your T levels are low. And on top of that, you're just pouring in all this caffeine. Nothing wrong with caffeine, but the fight or flight response, you start bumping up your cortisol, and then your hormones get all jacked up. I would say that the biggest thing that we haven't addressed yet, what's one of the biggest things that messes up your testosterone? I would put sleep up there in the top 3. Stress, I'll put it in the top 5. Huh? I'll put that in the top 3. Alcohol jacks it up. That's why I hate that rule, but that's just what it does. Because, why does it mess up? Because probably affecting your sleep. Definitely does. The big one, the big elephant in the room. I just kind of gave you an answer. The big elephant in the room. The big elephant in the room. Huh? You're going to get in trouble for that one. No. Excess adiposity. Being overweight. So the best way to increase your testosterone levels, stop being overweight. Start moving more. Start exercising. Start lifting weights. Do that for a good 3 or 4 months. If your levels are at 250, I guarantee you're going to see those start to go up. Go out and walk around in the sun. Get some vitamin D. Don't tell your clients to take X amount of units. No, that's not our capacity. Registered dietitian, nurse practitioners, they do that stuff. Could you suggest for a client to take vitamin D? Sure, but always tell them to go check with their doctor. Higher levels of cholesterol will help as well. So where do you find, it's funny, I call it the LA diet today. We go on lean meats, we do a ton of cardio, we want to look like a Backstreet Boy. So we take fat out of our diet. That's going to have a huge effect on your testosterone levels. So getting cholesterol, it's the backbone for building testosterone. So where do you find cholesterol? Usually in animal products. So your dairies and your eggs and your meats. I'm not saying go have a ribeye with a ton of fat. I want you to get more fat in your diet. So if you're a vegan, where can you find more fats? Avocados. Maybe a little bit in sweet potatoes, not so much in there, unless you put some butter, but I don't think you can have butter, can you?
There's vegan butter.
Oh, okay, you want to look at the fat content in that. I'm not a...
Made out of nuts, so you're probably...
Fine. Yeah, so then that's another one, your nuts, your seeds. Again, if someone comes in, I'm working with Izzy, he's a vegan, and say he has low fat level, I want to say work with a dietitian. I'm not going to start breaking them. Sure, you should probably get some more fat. Here's some suggestions. That's not our capacity. What we do as nutritional consultants, we can look at what you're eating, suggest you to come down a little bit, do some calculations, maybe a macro breakdown, find out some areas where there's opportunities, but I'm not going to say you need to eat more of this for this macronutrient. That's not in our capacity. So this is where trainers, they cross over the line, and I love nutrition. I'm so passionate about it. I don't care if you're passionate about it. That's not your capacity. I'm passionate about the heart. Am I going to start doing heart surgery on people? No, you got to stay in your boundaries. So big things, sleep. Your diet does play a role with cholesterol. Alcohol does affect it as well, but excess adiposity. And last but not least is water. Being dehydrated can bump down your testosterone as much as 50%. That's crazy as you start drinking water, right? And the last one is an inflammatory marker, CRP, C-reactive protein. This is going, you're not going to see this on the ACSM, but this is going to tell you how inflamed your body is. We talk about inflammation today, and we want to blame it on all of our food and our waters and the air. It's always funny to me, like LA people are bitching about, I'm going to start working, paying all this money on expensive water or whatever products. Like, honestly, the air you breathe in LA, you're screwed. Imagine if you're in Singapore or China. that's gonna have way bigger of an impact on your total health than having something that's alkaline. So what I would like you to get this measure to see where you're at. Less than 1.0 milligrams per liter is ideal. Once you get between 1 to 2.9, that's moderate. Once you start getting above 3, that's high. Above 10, that's serious. And this is just for your own knowledge. You're not going to be like, oh, your CRP is an 8. Let's review some cancers that you may have. No, doctors are going to pick this stuff up. And if you have a CRP of 10 or more, you probably have a serious underlying issue. And all I'm going to is the workout may be modified due to the medical clearance that I get from the doctor. Because remember, exercise is stress. We can inflame our bodies when we exercise. So if there's an underlying issue, this may be able to find it. You have a client that comes to you all the time and they talk about constantly having migraines. I'm not a doctor, but that's a great sign. You always have headaches, your body's off. How's our sleep, how's our stress, how's our hydration? If those are all good, we need to be the good professional and say, go work with your doctor. Go get a lipid panel, CRP, and this comes back high, and they're able to find out what's really wrong. That's awesome. Then that's what we did. We screened our clients, and that's what the ACSM coronary artery disease stratification can do. So you take the risks that they have, and then you're going to give them a low or moderate. Only way they'll be high where you can't train them: coronary disease, metabolic disease, pulmonary disease, or a sign or symptom. Who would like to come up here and do blood pressure real quick? So 2 people. Here. So this is the simple way. Is this the best way? No, but it works. It's fine. It's going to give you a reading, so sit down in the chair. Let's have you do it.
Alright, so is it?
Nope. Here. Now this reading may be a little off due to the size of it. You want it to be there, and you want to put it over your chest. Yep, just start filling up a little bit. With the wrist ones, if your wrists are a little bigger, it's going to give you a bad reading. So for guys, it's pretty common. For the girls in class, when we did it, it was great. So just be aware that we need to get another one, so that's our fault. It should give you a number pretty quickly. If it comes out as an error, you just want to explain that sometimes this machine gets a little jacked up. You have ones that are automated for the arm. You have to make sure you have the proper cuff size. A larger one, and then a medium and a small one. The large one's a thigh one. And is anything that? Nope, still going.
Do you need like a certain certificate or something for like a BLS or blood pressure?
Nope.
Type of
Your blood pressure is systolic 128 millimeter of mercury, diastolic 84
So 128 over 84. Can we train them? Yeah. Less than 140 over 90. Is it the best blood pressure in the world? No. Is it terrible? No. It's fine. What's going to help? He's a guy. What can we assume most guys don't do a lot of? Cardio? Do you do a lot of cardio? No? So what could we suggest for him?
Walk. Yeah.
So you tell him to start running. Guys like to be challenged. Like, what's your mile time right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Like 9, almost 10 minutes.
When was the last time you did that? Yeah, see? My challenge for you, you're in good shape, you should be running a 7-minute mile. Every week, one time. How long is it? 7 minutes? You can't do that? That's all right. If you don't want to get in the best shape of your life, don't do it. But mess with them like that. And they'll be like, oh, bro, I can do that. I don't think so. I mean, you're in good shape. I can run almost 6 minutes. I'll smoke you. There's no way you're getting close to 6. Have fun with it. They'll be like, I still want to get 5:59. That was what I got in high school. I did 6:28 over the weekend. I got to start. Maybe I can have you coach me up on how to get down there. But have fun with it. You're not going to turn into a girl if you do cardio. That's what guys think. Like, it's just not cool. I'm going to lose my gains. No, you're going to strengthen your heart. You're going to get that 128 and the 85, whatever. You're going to get it down. So what's going to happen is your heart's stronger. When you're benching, you're going to be able to press more. When you're squatting, normally when you're doing, because you're a big guy, you're probably doing 315 for reps on the squats. It's like, have fun with that. And then he's thinking like, okay, well, if I'm doing it for X amount, your heart's stronger, you can do it for Y amount. That's the benefit. So let's have you take your sweater off and then let's do some measurements.
I love running miles with guys because we'll go out on the track and they'll just fold because and then all of a sudden we hit like probably a quarter of a mile and I'm just like, bye. They just can't. They start off at like a 4-minute mile and then immediately goes to
So we start with the arm. We're going to go to the peak. What's the best exercise to get a peak? Better genetics.
insertion point.
There you go.
Surgery.
15.
Okay, so you'd write that down.
Because it's hitting here,
Yeah.
right? Okay, yeah, 15.
Yes.
All right, let's
I had
do,
carbs last night.
16 today.
So are you doing chest?
yes.
Where does chest need to go?
Mid.
And you can just, so you can hold it right there. Good, put your arms down. Good,
And that's 41.
good. So you'd write that down. Be consistent, always on the right side. What if your client want to take the shirt off? That's fine.
Just have a shirt on.
Good, you can do that. I would be a little aware if you are in the middle of your gym, client takes his shirt off, it's kind of toolish. Unless you're at Gold's Gym, I don't think you need to do that. So now we're doing abdominal, which is good. Nice.
31.2.
Okay. So then it'll be, that's not 0.2, it's going to be an 1/8.
Wow.
There, you're fine. It's 30. Now go to the largest part of the glutes and do it on the side. There you go. Just for not grabbing your client's glutes, even though they may like it, you want to go to the fattest part and go to the side. Good.
37.
Put your right leg out, and then we're going to go above the patella. You make that decision, Izzy. Good, so we put it on 9. You would then document 9 inches above the patella.
It would be 22.5.
Good. So then with all this data, if your client went to the doc and got their blood measured, you just did measurements, you did blood pressure, you got body fat percentage, you did push-ups, you did pull-ups, your client's in good shape, maybe you do a 10-rep bench press, half body weight goblet squat challenge, hold a plank, maybe you do whatever exercise that you feel is appropriate, that you like to do. It could be hip thrust, it could be trap bar. We're not doing a 1 rep max. If they've never lifted before, just do body weight, push-ups, planks. Now you have all this data. And then you say, my challenge is, right now we're in early November, I want you to get this checked again in early February, maybe March, right before springtime. And you get all this data back, then you can look at the two and say, wow, how cool is that? Your LDLs were at 125, now they're at 103. That's so cool, where you were frustrated earlier because the scale hasn't moved, and how many times have I told you the scale's stupid? But what happened is your blood was goop, and now it's flowing a lot better. So the likelihood of you dying has gone down dramatically. Your blood pressure was 128 over 88. Now it's 115 over 75. They call it the silent killer for a reason. Your heart is contracting and relaxing too hard when you have hypertension. Now it's gone down. Your total cholesterol was at 215. You were on medication. Now we got you on 112. So then you celebrate this stuff and you do a pull-up and you do a measurement test. You went from 15-inch biceps to 16. And we didn't even crush biceps that much, did we? What did we do? A ton of chin-ups, a ton of bench press, and different types of dips to help them grow that specific area. You lost body fat properly. So that's the value in the ACSM. When you truly implement it appropriately and you screen, you do the PAR-Q, you learn about your client, their job, their profession, their difficulties with achieving where they want to be, their diet, and you ask open-ended questions and you do this stuff, then you show them a demo, you are separating yourself from 99.9% of the trainers. So when you talk about the sale at the end, it's not awkward. You told me your goals were to lose A, B, C, and D. How did you like today? Get them to give you some feedback. Oh my God, it was so great. You taught me so much. How many times a week would you like to train? I don't know, what do you suggest? I suggest all my clients to train with me 5 times. You came in today at 9 o'clock. Let's schedule in next week, Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock. How's that sound? You put it back on them. That sounds great. There we go. This is the amount of package this is the amount per session, per package, blah, blah, blah. And you go over it, it's going to cost this much. How do you want to pay for it? Cash or credit? And I'm not asking like maybe sometimes, no, you're very direct, you have eye contact, I'm not changing my voice going up and down. I present a plan because you've never had a educated trainer take you through a systematic process to get you to where you want to be. You take a class, you do cardio, you do a stupid diet and it doesn't work, and you do it over and over and over again with the expectations of different results. That's insanity. So that's our ACSM stuff.